The first CFP rankings are out. Will Oregon's offense show up in Iowa? It doesn't really matter. All that and more here on the Ducks Confidential Podcast. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian and OregonLive, joined by George Wrighster of the Unafraid Show and the CW. It's been a minute because of the bye week. How you been, man?
Man, I've been great, man. I've been engaging with who I believe might be the best Big Ten fan so far, which is
really.
Oh my God! Iowa fans have showed up on the channel. They've showed up on social media. They have absolutely impressed, and I like Iowa fans. They're a little delusional, but they are amazing. Yet and still
It's delusional.
No, but
That's cool.
What fan base is not delusional?
Exactly. They're all everyone's delusional. That's part of being a fan. Speaking of being a fan, I cannot believe your obnoxious Dodgers pulled off that nonsense. God, so bitter.
Why is everybody so mad at the Dodgers, bro?
Because they're the evil empire. Dude, they won 100 games 5 out of 7 years. They won a World Series, and then they add the best player on the planet for deferred money. Then add a pitcher, and they add a glass now. Oh my God, the other kid,
Snell.
And
whose fault is that? That's the Tampa Bay Rays' fault. That's the Padres' fault.
It's MLB. I don't blame the Dodgers for doing what they did. I mean, they have the means to do it, but it's MLB itself. It's just it's not. The structure has always been wrong. That's why NFL's king. That's why everyone knows NFL's king. Because Green Bay can beat New York. In MLB, you have franchises that the only way they can ever contend is if they hit on all their draft picks, develop them, and then bubble at the same time and they win like Kansas City did, and then they're all going to leave anyway. But anyway, this is not the Dodgers Confidential Show. I just wanted to give you a backhanded compliment that your team won it because they cheat and spent a lot of money. But anyway.
Cheat? You have not, dude.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The only thing I
they
want
didn't
to say
cheat.
about
They
this,
didn't cheat.
the only thing I want to say about this is that
I knew I shouldn't have brought this up.
Had the Angels even been to the playoffs one time, Shohei Ohtani would still be there probably.
Well, they had some bad luck with Trout, and then was it Rendon? Not
yes.
Rendon. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
they signed him for $200 million, and his body fell apart, and then Trout fell apart. So, but listen, I don't hate the player, hate the game. I hate the system.
Yes.
But the Dodgers represent the system.
And they have some of the most likable players in baseball. Will Smith.
I get it.
Betts,
I get it.
Yamamoto.
Okay. I'm
Kike.
sorry.
How do you not like
I'm
these dudes?
sorry I brought it. I don't hate them. Like I said, I'm not hating the player. I'm hating the game, but they're part of the game. So, okay. Anyway, today's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast is brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, before we get to this Iowa game, the first college football playoff rankings came out. Oh my God, and the tizzy it sent people in. Before I get to this, Oregon's number 9. I just want to say, because, I'm a fan too, and sometimes people criticize me for not understanding fans or being a hater or whatever. But, dude, Miami Hurricanes, their fans are freaking out because they came in at 18th, and Notre Dame's 10, and Miami beat Notre Dame. But my feelings are, don't lose to SMU. Shut the hell up and win out and see what happens. But these rankings are put out there basically to get people into a tizzy, to get people talking about the sport, which is smart. But at the end of the day, this first ranking it's going to turn on its, it's going to be flipped upside down by the time we get to the end of the season. But I'm going to come to you. What are your thoughts on it, especially Oregon checking in at number 9?
Okay. So first thing is, in the top 10, I couldn't even be mad at what the committee did. This is This is the first time that I was ever like, this is a legit top 10. Now, when you get to 11, now I got problems. Texas at 11 is outrageous.
Texas has been balling lately, though.
No, they have not. Aaron. They just beat Vanderbilt, which was overrated at 9 in
That's
the
a good win.
AP. No. It is a good win, but Vanderbilt should be given the same treatment that SMU and Indiana got last year. But now they want to prop up Vandy like this is some juggernaut of a team. Yes, they are a formidable team. They are decent, but they're like 6th to 8th best in the SEC. And Texas, yes, they beat Vent. That Oklahoma win, that was John Mateer coming back on a absolutely just.
See, you just want to downplay anything.
Hold on. And then they beat Kentucky 16-13. Kentucky's awful. If think about how people are trying to judge Oregon for a 21-7 win over Wisconsin, but
right.
then they're like, oh my God, that Kentucky win and that Mississippi State 17-point fourth quarter comeback and going into overtime, those are great wins. It's just funny. Every single win in the SEC is supposed to be a great win, even when you're playing the worst teams in the conference. So I believe that Texas is trending in the right direction. They are doing much better than they were in the beginning of the season.
Right.
They should have been around 14, 15. That's my only issue with Texas.
But real quick, just on Texas. The thing about it, though, is that it doesn't matter because they've got Georgia and A&M coming up. If they win those 2 games and clear, then they deserve to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to lose one, and then they'll be out.
Yeah, for sure.
Your concern is that they can lose one and still be in, though, right?
Ranked at this point in time. Okay. So, and then we got to address the Notre Dame-Miami situation. Yes, Miami beat Notre Dame the first week of the season, and since then, Aaron, these 2 teams are at this point in time for the last month. Are they trending in 2 different directions?
100%.
Yes. So if if one team is going like this, that's like saying that Florida State should be in front of Alabama right now because they beat them first weekend of the season.
But who's Miami beating? Or excuse me, who's Notre Dame beating? USC. That's their best win.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like, I mean, they may be going in a better direction, but NC State, Boise State, Arkansas, Purdue,
generally destroying people as well. So they're getting a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, and I'm glad I had to say the words benefit of the doubt because remember, at the beginning of the season, we talked about this Oregon team, this Oregon brand, and where people are used to seeing them in the conversation, and you're essentially going to have to get thrown out like Alabama did last year. Right. And Oregon at number 9, considering that their best win right now is I still do not discount the Penn State win like everybody else does because that's a different football team at that point in time than they were after that. That now they don't have a quarterback, they don't have a head coach. Like Oregon destroyed their entire season because if they win that game, seriously, Aaron, if they beat Oregon, is James Franklin still the head coach at Penn State?
Well, yeah, he is. Even if they lose to UCLA and Northwestern.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have lost to UCLA. That's the point. If they don't lose to Oregon, they don't lose to UCLA and everything else. Anyways, so Oregon, I believe, is getting the benefit of the doubt, which 10 years ago would not have happened. And
10 years ago? 10 years ago when they were winning 4 conference titles in 6 years and went to 2 national title games?
Yes. I'm saying that had they lost games in those had they lost a game to Indiana at that point in time, they would not have gotten the benefit of the doubt. Is what I'm saying. In a ranking situation, they wouldn't have gotten benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, they would have. But go ahead.
No.
Yes.
No way.
In 2012, they lost. In 2012, they lost to Stanford, and they didn't drop off the map. They would have made the 12-team playoff that year. They'd have made an 8-team, a 16 playoff that year.
We would have seen what the committee said because all we had at that point in time was the AP poll. So
no, in 2000, yes, right, 2012.
Yeah. So that's the point, Aaron. It's just that there is a little bit of a benefit of the doubt that they are getting, but the schedule stiffens up. And yeah, and as far as the rest of the rankings, it was actually kind of interesting to watch it on television because you had Joey Galloway trying to say, "Oh, Texas A&M, all the metrics say that Texas A&M is the best team." What metrics are you talking about? The FPI, the strength to schedule, all of this stuff says that Ohio State and Indiana are the two best teams. And then you got Booger. Well, Texas A&M has the best win in college football. They beat Notre Dame. What? How is that even possible if you are getting ready to say, like, how can that be the best win when Indiana marched into a team that is ranked in front of Notre Dame and beat them at home in Indiana beating Oregon? So that can't be the best win. It's just crazy, dude, that these talking points on television, that they don't have to be based in truth or reality.
They're clearly trying to pump up Notre Dame.
Yes, they're trying to pump up Notre Dame, and they're trying to pump up the SEC teams. Yeah. Because right now you have five SEC teams ranked inside of the top 12. And Texas A&M, Bama, and Georgia and Ole Miss don't play each other for the rest of the season. So, So they don't play each other for the rest of the season. And then you do have Texas, who gets to play Georgia and Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. So if they split those games, you're still going to have people trying to put a 3-loss Texas team inside of the top 12. You can book that. And then you got Oklahoma, who's knocking on the door too, but they still got Alabama, LSU, and Missouri. Missouri don't really count, but yeah. So I was not mad.
Go ahead.
I wasn't mad at the rankings though. I thought they were pretty good.
If overall. Texas is 9-3, that means they have to win over A&M or Georgia, which is going to be the argument to try and squeeze them in.
Correct.
But last year, Georgia didn't get in with 3 losses. Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss and Bama did not get in with 3 losses. But their losses were to like Kentucky and
Didn't Ole Miss beat Georgia though?
No. Wait, last year I forget, but it was who their losses were to that was the issue.
Yeah, they beat Georgia 28-10, then lost to Florida, and before that lost to Kentucky. They lost at overtime to LSU. They had a legit argument, but they were 9-3. Shut up! Don't go 9-3.
Well, right. and it was who their losses were too. It wasn't that it was just that they didn't win.
Well, Kentucky was
the
bad.
Florida loss was bad, and the Kentucky loss was bad, and the Kentucky loss was bad.
Yeah.
Here's
my thing. I thought 12 was nice, but I think 8 was a sweet spot. To me, what I wanted to see avoided were the number 5, number 6 teams, which are sometimes 1 loss, sometimes 2 losses, but their 2 losses were, maybe one of them was inside the top 4 and they get squeezed out. Like say Oregon in 2012. Oregon in 2012 lost to Washington. Should they have been in the playoffs? Maybe. Florida State undefeated? Yeah, maybe. Those are the teams I'm worried about. Once you get past 8, I don't care about 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, cry me a river. You shouldn't have lost whatever you lost. I don't want to hear it. And then after 12, I really don't want to hear about it. We're away from the AP. We're away from the BCS. We're away from the 14. If you're crying at 9, 10, 11, like, I don't want to hear. If you're crying at 13, 14, go away.
Well, the SEC fans are crying right now because they're like, Texas is one of the 11, 12 best teams. They should be in, and so should Oklahoma. So they can get 6 teams in the college football playoff because the ACC because Virginia's at 14, so they bump up, and Memphis bumps up too. So now you got a G6 spot, and you got the ACC getting a spot, and they're like, see, look, this isn't the best teams getting in. But the issue is, see, I'm all in favor of the automatic bids because of the automatic bids for each conference, because I believe that the Big 12 and the ACC get poo-pooed on so badly.
Right.
And people it's narratives. So whether they are true that particular season or not, people don't want to hear it, and they want to get as many SEC teams in as possible, because the more teams you get in, more teams you get to that can possibly, if you get half the field in, bro, you got a great chance to win a championship. But if they don't win a national championship again for the third year in a row, if the Big Ten wins the third year in a row, do you know what that is going to do to the confidence of the SEC and their narratives? People are going to be like, hold up, bro, you can't say you're the best conference in anymore because you're not winning championships. And then they'll go, yeah, but we're the deepest in this. Oh, but I thought that argument, but y'all told us for 20 years the SEC just wins all the national championships, even though it was like 3 teams carrying all the water.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. So what do you think about the automatic bid for the G6?
I love it. I love it. I got no problem.
I think they should have to be ranked in the top, 20 at least. See, there's not one team ranked right now.
I believe that. See, I don't believe that because of the way the rankings work. They're always going. So the rankings always skew toward big brands, like Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas. Like Georgia. They always, Ohio State. They always skew toward those.
Right, because they're the better teams.
No. They are the biggest brands, even when they aren't the best teams, and they have the best quote unquote recruiting classes. And and I know that recruiting class rankings don't always turn into really great football teams. So
okay. Go ahead. Let me see finish now. Then I'll tear it apart. Go ahead.
So for the Memphis, the USF, Tulanes, UNLVs of the world, you're not going to get a fair shake in these rankings. So it's also impossible to really judge how good a team really is. And if Ashton Jeanty hadn't have been in the Heisman conversation last year, no matter what Boise State was doing, they would not have been ranked as highly as they were.
Okay, so here's the thing. We all know that the talent base is going to be better in the FBS than the FCS, yes, especially today where you can go steal FCS best players, right? So we're talking about the top 12. So there's the odds of an FCS program, I'm sorry, not FCS, a group of 6, being better than a top 12 team are not very high.
Correct.
Now, Boise was ranked highly all season, but Boise went out and showed pretty well at Oregon, which was ranked number 1 the second half of the season. Whereas Memphis, I'm looking at Memphis, their best win is Arkansas by 1 point. So to me, if a group of 6 team wants to be in the field, they have to schedule two Power 4 teams of legitimate substance.
Yeah, but it doesn't
to prove it.
work.
And you can't argue, that makes your schedule too tough. No, because your schedule's still going to be easier than everyone else's in the mix because they play in a group of 6 conference.
But the issue is, though, Aaron, is and here's the truth, because I've talked to people about a lot of people about scheduling, a lot of coaches, a lot of ADs. They don't really want to schedule the Memphises, the Boise States, because it's a risk. Like, it is high risk, low reward.
See, and those teams should be bounced out of the rankings.
So
you're scared?
I'm saying it's difficult for them to get 2 Power 4 games.
Right, I hear you, and I'm blaming if they reach out to a Power 4 team, if they reach out to Oregon and say, hey, instead of playing, Montana State, play Memphis, and Oregon says, no, we're not going to do that. We're that's too much of a. Then Oregon should be called out. But if you had a governing body that had teeth, they'd create these schedules and say, okay, you have to play these teams. Stop ripping off your fans with these garbage games that people are paying full prices or not go to, and make Oregon play Memphis. That's a much better game than Memphis playing Chattanooga.
Yeah, I would, but however, at the same time though, if you're playing your 9 conference games, you are playing Oregon State, which is the equivalent of Memphis essentially, and then you play a P4 non-conference game, you have one game left, and then that's pretty much always for everybody who plays conference games a bye game. So yes, I completely agree with you when it comes to teams that schedule 2 FCS games, or you schedule, like, I'm okay with scheduling one FCS game, one group of 6 game, and then one Power 4 game. Like that scheduling, and plus your 9 conference games. I'm good with that scheduling model.
Right. And I'm not trying to pick on Oregon, because Oregon did play Oregon State. It's not Oregon's fault. Oregon State's fallen off. That's their rival. And they did schedule Oklahoma State back when Oklahoma State was relevant, right? Yeah. So I'm not trying to pick on Oregon. I'm just saying that in that scenario with teams, that those group of 5 teams that want to get in the mix need to play better competition.
No, I think I totally agree. But you used Oregon as an example, and I was just like, there was nobody I would throw off their schedule this year for Memphis. Like, I'm cool with the Montana State game because it's an FCS game. It's a bye game. I think that it's good for overall health of the FCS teams to have to get those bye games, and then to get their players some film for the NFL as well. Because because some of those players.
No, I was going to say get them some film for the FBS teams.
Oh,
go ahead.
well, that's
the next step. That's the next step, right?
That too.
Montana State to Oregon to the NFL. All right, we exhausted that. Well,
Indiana's a team that could do that. Their non-conference was Old Dominion, which is a G4. A G16. Kennesaw State and Indiana State. So they can keep the Indiana State game because it's an in-state game, and then take Kennesaw State off and put a group of 4 team. I'm sorry, a Power 4 team in there.
So is it group of 5 or group of 6 now?
Group of 6, because the Pac-12 is now.
The Pac-12 went from the 5 to the 6, and that's right. I get that confused sometimes. All right, moving on to the game, the big game. Oregon, number 9 at number 20, Iowa. Woo! I don't know, man. I'm picking Oregon. I'm sticking with it, but it's kind of dicey. I think the Ducks need to get Dante Moore to show up for this game, even though it's going to be raining. I think he needs to make some big plays, because that, to me, is the only thing that really separates these two teams right now. Iowa can run it. They play defense. Their quarterback, they don't throw very well, but he's sneaky good with his legs. Dante Moore, to me, is the key of this game. Now, they could ground and pound like they did against Wisconsin, but I think they're going to have to make some plays in the passing game to win this. What say you?
I believe that, okay, so you have the number 2 defense in the nation in terms of yards per game in Iowa, versus the number 4 defense and the number 1 pass defense in the nation. So it's funny, because the narrative that's been painted is that it's this Iowa physical defensive football team, when you don't be the number 4 defense in the country in terms of yards per game, and you're not physical. You know what I mean?
But they play some bad offenses, dude.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter.
No, they haven't played bad offenses, actually. What are we talking about? Rutgers is a good offense. But these people have put up a lot of yards on other people. No, they have not played, top tier offenses. Iowa's not a top tier offense either. So this is the entire point, is that you don't get to be a top 4 defense without physicality. It's just not a thing. And when I look at the matchups in this game, this is going to be about offense, Aaron. Which offense can win the football game? And when we talk about ways to win, Oregon has more ways to win this football game. Iowa, they have to be perfect in special teams, which their special teams is really good, especially their punt returners crazy. And then they have and then their defense is really good. They're only giving up 83 yards per game rushing, which they're going to get over that. So it's just a matter of which offense is going to be able to take advantage of their opportunities. Because if you're Oregon, you're going to say we got two of the best corners in the country, and especially one of them in Brandon Finney, and you're going to say we're going to load the box and we double dog dare you to throw it. If Mark Gronowski can throw to beat us and the pass rush doesn't get home and we don't make plays on the ball and he's accurate and everything else, then we got to live with it.
Right. So be it. I agree with you. So here's some interesting numbers. So they're averaging 31 points per game. That's been bumped up lately because they put up 37 on Wisconsin and 41 on Minnesota. However, the Minnesota game included a pick six, and they forced 3 interceptions in that game, which helped the offense. In that game, they actually only gained 274 yards, and they rushed for 133 on the ground. So the offense did not play well in that game. Gronowski threw for 135. Against Wisconsin, they got 319 yards of offense with 210 rushing, which is similar to Oregon, what Oregon did against Wisconsin. But again, Wisconsin turned the ball over 3 times, helping the offense. Gronowski in that game, 107 yards passing. So their defense and the running game has been carrying them. Like you said, the logic is lock up the run game, make them beat you through the air. If they can beat you through the air, then you just got to go.
They are the 132nd passing team in the country at 132 yards per game.
It's
they
crazy.
Go
ahead.
They are 121st in yards per game with 317.
I know. It's
they
wild.
Are 39th in rushing yards per game. And I know that they play at a slow pace, which is what all the Iowa fans would tell you. Oh, the yards don't matter. They play at a slow pace. And this
that's true for the rushing. That's true for the running.
Yes. That is true on some level. Yeah. But when you get them, if Oregon can get some early stops and put some points up, and then get them in third and longs occasionally, this is not a team that can beat you.
No,
this is not at all. This is a team that is they play run and punt football. Right. This is why they are praying. Their fans are praying for they want to play in the middle of a hurricane.
Lord, please make it rain a lot.
Okay,
I've seen their fans on Twitter.
As of right now, it is rain mixing with snow. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. They're like,
is it?
They're like, make it a whiteout. They're like, make it a whiteout, Jesus.
Wait. Is that real?
Yes.
Oh no, I need to cancel my flight. So here's what's crazy about Gronowski, dude. At South Dakota State, where he won 2 national titles, dude threw for 10,000 yards and 93 touchdowns. Of course, that's spread out over 4 years, but he has 2 really good years. It was close to 3,000 yards passing. Still rushed for 1,700 yards and 37 touchdowns. This year he has 11 touchdowns rushing, and Thieneman talked this week, and Mateo talked this week about they got to watch out for him because Iowa does a great job with QB draws and with design QB runs, especially near the goal line, which is why he has 11 touchdowns. But again, if you can't generate, and I agree with you, if you can't generate, some, not necessarily explosion plays, but some threats and intermediate passing plays against the Ducks, I just don't see how you're going to be able to ground and pound. Now, the danger is, could this turn into, if Oregon's offense sputters, you said if you get up on them early, Iowa could be in trouble. But to me, I'm thinking back to 2012, 2013 Stanford. When Stanford, three plays a punt, run and punt, like you said, but the defense held up and they were able to win the games. And they stuffed Oregon's offense because the passing game went to sleep in both games.
Now, Aaron, I understand why you would make that reference. This team is also bigger, faster, stronger than that was, and also Stanford also had a quarterback. They actually had a passing offense on some level.
Not in 12 and 13.
Who was the quarterback? Number 8.
It wasn't Luck.
Kid after Luck. He went to the NFL.
Look them up. I love Football Reference. It's so amazing.
I'll finish on this point while you talk about that.
They had 2 quarterbacks in 12. Kevin Hogan.
Yep.
And Josh Nunez. Yeah, dude, they weren't very good. They were
Hogan
okay.
was cool.
They combined for 19 touchdowns. That's decent. And then the next year, 13 was, oh my God, 13 was just crazy. Kevin Hogan again. So Kevin Hogan was okay. And that year he threw 20 touchdowns, but against Oregon, they were just grinding and just pounding it.
In that particular game, I'm saying that overall they had a better passing offense than
Tyler Gaffney.
Than
name I've forgotten
what
about.
I was doing right now. And so yeah, dude, I respect Iowa, respect what they're doing. This is a game that Oregon has to win, and honestly, it doesn't matter how you win, but at the end of the day, you would like to, even in this bad weather, show, all right, cool, you can't line up and just run us over. So so sorry. And Gronowski is a good runner, but and when people hear that, you think of certain quarterbacks. He's not Lamar Jackson. He is not Josh Allen. That level of athleticism, he is not. And sometimes people, like, they're looking at the success that he's having, and they're like, oh my God, like, he's a decent athlete, but he's a big dude. He's 6'2", 6'3", 235.
Yep.
And so he's a bigger athlete, but he is not, and also he's part hurt right now too. He's been dealing with a knee injury, and he talked about how this bye week, and then this week, and even in practice, he's had to take some reps off to make sure that he's healthy for the game. So, I don't know if that's the proper recipe for success, because we hit them in them thigh pads early, buddy.
Gaffney in that game in 2013 against Oregon, 45 carries for $155. It's like 3.5 yards. I mean, talk about 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Gaffney?
That was that day. Tyler Gaffney. You know what I just said?
Jesus Christ.
I know. Tyler Gaffney, dude. 45 carries, 157.
That's not even that many yards per carry.
But when you're eating when you have the ball for 40 minutes,
dude,
the 3 yards now becomes like 6 yards. Especially if you get every third and fourth down.
Because they essentially started the tush push with that like when they would go foot to foot. Like, they are the inventors of the tush push. It just was illegal at that point. So what they would do is they would essentially tush push, and then they would hand it off to the fullback, and then he would just dive over the pile.
Crazy. Oh my God. They were down 26-0 in that game. That scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. Oregon did.
Yeah.
It's like also came to life. I think they're a favorite by 20 in that game too, dude.
Yeah. And Oregon's favored by 6.5 in this game. And but the total keeps falling because of the weather.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not rain, like where Iowa fans are praying for rain. Rain has, unless it's a monsoon, it has very little impact on winning and losing and how the game is played. It's wind. Think of football like airplanes. Rain doesn't bother airplanes. Snow doesn't bother airplanes. It's the temperature that can get a little dicey if you have icing. But outside of that, the only thing that bothers airplanes is wind. That is it. That's the only thing that they don't like, and it's only at takeoff and landing. That's it.
Okay. I mean, if it's raining pretty hard and it's a grass field, that can impact route running, but it also hurts the DBs. But also, if the ball gets wet, it's not as easy to throw. You admit that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but it's got to be waterlogged. I'm saying because they switch the balls out so much when it's raining. That's why I said, like, a little bit of rain is not that big of a deal, but a monsoon is.
Yeah, a little rain. Yeah, I agree with you on a little rain, but if it's pouring, then that could be trouble. But anyway, all right. Let's get to our predictions. So, I'm sticking with Oregon. I do think this is dicey. I think this is the opportunity to really prove that you have the beef up front that that you claim they have, that they claim they have, because this is going to be that type of game, man. You got to stop the run and you got to run the football. I love what they did against Wisconsin. The passing game wasn't there. Moore gets hurt and you go to the ground. Their running backs way better than I think Iowa's running backs are. I think they're going to be capable of more big plays than Iowa is in the running game. And I'm interested to see how Oregon stacks up and stuffs that run. At least slow it down enough to where it doesn't grind the clock and demoralize you. So I've got Oregon still. I think it's going to be similar to the Northwestern game, but I think Iowa's better. So I'm going to say something like 27-16, something like that. Maybe 17. Maybe it's 2 touchdowns and that's a bunch of field goals. But I think Oregon wins. I think they get a touchdown late to sort of pull away by 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah. I got 27-13.
Okay, so we're about the same.
Yeah. I think that I was going to get some field goals. They might get a touchdown, and I think that Oregon's going to score at some points in time. that they're going to get 27 points out of this.
Yeah,
26 at the least, which will give you 3. Oh no, sorry, 20. Yeah, 27. So 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now here's the last question. Are we going to see Dante Moore show up in this game and play well?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because
I know you are.
One of the things that Iowa fans brought up, they're like, "Oh my God, they've never been to a place like Kinnick. They don't know what it's like." I was like, "Bro, they just went to Penn State."
Last year they went to Michigan.
Yeah, if you've been to Michigan, you've been to Penn State, like Kinnick, and this is no diss on Kinnick's right. Environment, because it probably is amazing, electric, but they've been to other places, and their home stadium is one of the loudest places on earth in terms of college football. When it's at its loudest, one of the loudest outdoor college football stadiums. So this is a team that is used to noise and doesn't get impacted by noise. So when it comes to Dante, I don't believe it's the noise or the environment that can bother him. The only thing that can bother him is Iowa's defense, but they don't do on film a lot of the same things that Indiana did. And they play with a 4-3 the majority of the time. So they're going to have 3 linebackers in the majority of time, no matter what your personnel is. Like if it's 1st and 10 and Oregon's in 3 wideouts, they're going to have 3 linebackers in. So Oregon is going to have to pull them out of that and make them play their game. And don't try to play in a phone booth. You got to make Iowa play the game that you want to play, which is, and then get stops, 3 and outs, because Oregon has one of the highest 3 and out rates of any defense in the country at 13.5%, and then them having 3 and outs is super low as well. So it's good. So it's a good recipe. And the weather is definitely going to factor, I believe, on some level. But I hope it's a good day for the Ducks. And then that's only going to make the USC game and the Washington game that much bigger, which I could not be. I mean, as a football fan, isn't that what you want?
Yes.
Is you want USC coming into your house, trying to knock you out of the playoff, and then you got to go to Washington and beat them up. Yeah, that's what you want. I'm happy.
That's what it's all about.
Because there's pressure too, right? Because there's no pressure on Ole Miss basically for the rest of the season. They're in the playoff. They only have 3 games left, Aaron, and their 3 games are against the Citadel this week, Florida the week after that, and then Mississippi State. They're not going to lose to the Citadel, and they're not going to lose to Florida and Mississippi State. So they're in the playoff. Can we agree with that?
Yeah, they finished 10-2. They're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a thing too. Is whether how they like, are you going to be ready for what happens next when you've been cruising on the way out?
True. All right, that's it for today's episode of the Ducks Confidential Podcast, which was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, we'll catch you next week after this game. I'm going. You're not going, right?
Nah, man, I will be on CW again this week. We have a couple games, so yeah. So if you are not at that game, then tune in to CW. See your boy.
Check him out. All right.